Good morning, athletics fans. We are live from London for the Battersea 10K, the second fixture in the Top Flight series of 2025. I'm joined in the studio today with Cameron Boyack and Stacey Smith. I'm Richard Morell, and we'll be bringing you all the commentary on the fields we've got going off today in the 10K. We've got a real bunch of quality athletes starting these 10Ks today, and our biggest field to date in the Top Flight series. So I'll hand you over to some introductions. I'll go to my left first. Cameron Boyack, nice and prompt on time today. Bulled in the studio 30 seconds ago. How are you, Cam?
Well, not too good because I seem to have forgotten my laptop today, but look.
Yes, he's borrowed mine.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great race. Battersea Park, it's nice, flat as a pancake. 4 laps of the course, it makes great viewing for the spectators, and hopefully London's a bit warmer than it is up here. It's pretty warm and pretty cold in Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard it's quite chilly on the course, but dry and with no wind. And to my right, we've got Stacey Smith with us this morning.
Hello, good morning.
So, before we get into things with Battersea Park, let's have a quick recap on our Newcastle race. Obviously, that was earlier on in January, and you two were both in the studio. So, how did you both see it and feel it went, and how it unfolded and everything?
Yeah, I thought it was an absolute cracking race in Newcastle for the very first race of 2025, kicking the season off really well. That battle between Sam and Omar at the end was fantastic, and with Sam just having that kick towards 800 meters to go, he just absolutely what he did throughout the race is he just sat in behind Omar. Omar took on the most of the race there, and Sam just sat and bided his time, was patient. 800 meters to go, went for the kick, went for the win, and it was a great race, absolutely fantastic race.
Yeah, I thought it was an impressive win. I think he looked very comfortable actually at the end. He didn't really even kick too hard. He kind of just wound it up with about 1 kilometers to go, and it was an impressive win. He's clearly in very good shape. I'm looking forward to seeing if Omar's maybe we still haven't heard as to whether or not he's had any issues. Have any of you guys heard anything?
No, I haven't heard whether there's been any issues. I did hear that he'd been very cold in the build-up to the race and had been training indoors, so maybe that was a factor in things. I also think, Omar runs a certain way. He tends to hit hard from the front. Now, whether the other athletes have cottoned onto that and have got a bit more confidence and thought, well, actually, the way to beat him is to go with him, because we've seen that at Ribble Valley, and Sam Gabriel-Selassie's potentially laid the blueprint out in Newcastle. So, yeah, this. And I'm sure there will be answers today, because Omar Ahmed is racing today, so it'll be intriguing to see how he goes. And he'll be up against his battle partner from Newcastle, Sam Gabriel-Selassie. So before we get into the details of what we've got in the men's and women's races, I think it'd be useful to have a little recap on the course. So slightly different from our previous Battersea Park fixtures, we are actually starting and finishing on the track today, so good job it's dry. So the athletes will start on the track. They will head out into Battersea Park, and it's 4 laps of the usual Battersea Park course, nice and flat, like we've mentioned. It is a pretty sheltered course anyway, but you can see from the stills that we've got going on in the background there, there's not much wind. Yes, it's a little bit chilly, but I'm sure these athletes will cope with that. No issue. So yeah, 4 laps of the course, then back onto the track for the finish. So it's always nice to see a race finish on a track. I think it gives it a little bit more oomph in them final 100 meters there. So we'll see how that race pans out. One thing we are going to try this morning is handing over to our field team. So we have got Lewis Moses live on the ground. He's going to be trying to grab some quick words with some of the athletes that we've got lined up for today's race. So we'll hand over to him shortly.
We'll go on to the women's because we never recap the women.
So, whilst we're waiting for Lewis Moses on the ground for his stream to come on live, and we'll get some words from the athletes that we've got, um, we'll go back into Newcastle. Obviously, Millie McNurspy took the win. I was down trackside at Newcastle, and I could see sections of the race. I thought she had a fantastic run, and when I watched the stream back as well, I thought she timed her run perfectly. Clocked a quick time as well on the day. What did you guys think of it? Obviously, you were seeing it on the stream, so you'll have got the full, full details of the race. So, yeah, how did you see it unfold?
I think she looked so strong throughout the entire race, and she definitely had a little bit more company with her for the beginning of the race than I thought. And it's hard when you are when you're looking at things at the race unfolding live, and like we've said on the podcast before, it's pretty difficult to commentate and also get the correct camera angle whilst there's such a mass field going off at the same time. So it was a little bit difficult to see the race earlier on, but yeah, she definitely had a bit more company than we originally thought for about 3-4K, I would say, of the race. And then she just looked so strong and then picked it up and started to pick people off throughout the race and went for a pretty comfortable win, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think she kind of was leading it essentially for a while, and I think in the end, I think it just meant that Molly Williams essentially couldn't quite hold on for long enough, and when she sort of was on her way back, it's slightly downhill for a very short period of time, and that's when she sort of put the move in. And when you're in amongst the men as well, and you can see people away ahead of you, and you're kind of picking it off, people off left, right, and centre. I think that kind of spurred her on. So the gap just kept opening up, and to be honest, it probably spurred her on even more. To come away with a victory of almost 30 seconds is pretty impressive. She's clearly in very, very good shape, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she races again going forward, especially in the short term with the relays coming up as well in the next sort of month, I think, isn't it? The 12th stage relays, usually sort of March, April time.
Is
Yeah,
that the one on 30th of March?
It'd be the 12th stage, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
is.
around, yeah, might be
Yeah.
then. So
Are you gonna try it out? Are you gonna?
I don't know. It depends
Come
if my
on,
Achilles is
Cam.
all right. Yeah, if my Achilles is all right, I'll do it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I hate that course though. The course is so bad. Like it's like have you guys run there before?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, yeah. This man here. Yeah, I need.
So, yeah, yes, it is a tough course. Starting on a hill like that, it is. It is really hard, and it's mentally a bit fatiguing.
It's two. Is it? You do the hill twice on 2 legs? Is it?
No, you don't do it twice. No, not on the long. You don't, or the short leg either. So
That's
you only
good
have to
then.
tackle it once, but it is.
Yeah, I remember doing it. It's if you're a track runner, it's your night. It's our idea of a nightmare essentially.
I've never done it.
Have
Horrendous.
you never done it?
No. I might do it though. I might pull out the vest for No Shields Poly this year and get involved with it. I like the relay stuff.
Yeah, they are good,
Relays
good
are
team
always
events
fun.
there. Obviously, we've had, in the wider scope of things, we've had a big week on the athletic scene. Rory Leonard, Morpeth Harrier, local athlete. I'd seen he dropped a 13:20 something 5K
yeah.
last night in America in a race that was won by Grant Fisher in 12:44. So
Nice flipping
world
hell.
record there, but obviously a fantastic run from Rory. For you guys that are maybe dialing in that don't know who Rory is, he's the British record holder over 10K on the road. We done an interview with him earlier on in the year, so check that out on our YouTube channel. That's an interview with Rory Leonard, our British 10K record holder, and recently dropped a 13:22 PB last night in America. So look out for that. So we can see our second stream is live now. So we're just waiting for Lewis Moses to potentially grab hold of some of the athletes and just ask them a few questions about their pre-race routine. Whilst we're waiting for that nod, should we dive into the fields a little bit about what we've got in the men's and women's races?
Yeah, I think we're going to try and hand over to the field team. It is the first time that we are trialling this for this race, and we're going to see if we can get a camera and a mic down there on the warm-up area and Lewis Moses to try and talk to a couple of the athletes. But yeah, whilst we are waiting for the team to set up, we can go certainly through some of the team. Do you want to start men's or women's
Let's
first?
start with the women's.
So, I mean, we've had a pretty late entry from Jess Gibbon from Reading AC. Now, she is a fantastic athlete, was sixth at the British Cross Country Trials and competed for England at the Euro Cross Country Championships. And we're just looking at the screen now. I think we're going to stop talking and we're going to hand over to the fantastic Lewis Moses. And he is going to be on field and in the grid and hopefully get to speak to some athletes.
Good morning. From a little chilly Battersea Park, the mecca of running here in central London, we are bringing you Battersea 10K Top Flight Series. Yes, what we're going to do is we're going to go and take a look at how the athletes are warming up, a little bit like the Formula One, pit style. We're going to go down, chat to a few people, and a bit like the tyres in Formula One, where it makes a big difference to what they stick on the cars, we're actually going to have a look at what the runners are putting on their feet. So what are their wheels of choice? So if we take you around towards the start line, you'll see the runners warming up on the track. They're getting ready to go. They'll be going through the drill set that they'll have. You know, this will be done in every training session they do. They'll also do it before every race. Runners like routine. They like to be in habits. And they'll also have those little superstitions as well. From everything to changing their socks to making sure they've got their number pinned on in the exact way. I know you've got good company from the studio. I've been listening to Rich, to Stacey and Cam, and they're going to keep you up to date with when we get going, and they'll also be providing superb commentary as also on the live stream. But we did just want to do a little bit different and take a look at what the runners are doing to prep and get themselves ready. So what we're going to do is we're not going to pick out anyone in particular. We're just going to go random. I can see Blake Moore though is over here ready to go. Morning, Blake. I'm going to grab you for a second if that's all right. Don't worry, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I've just got one question for you. What is the shoe choice this morning?
Takumi's for me.
Takumi Sens.
Yeah.
Oh, bit different from the old Takumis though, aren't they? Bit higher. Why that choice for the 10K in particular?
I prefer a lower stack shoe than some of the bigger stacks. So yeah, it seems to suit me better.
Nice, thanks Blake, good luck, hope it goes well. Yeah, lower stack height, and for those of you at home, the lower stack height, sometimes when you're cornering a lot, particularly in places like Battersea, they'll give you a little bit more stability and structure, whereas the higher stack height, you know, something like, let's say, an Alpha Fly, they may be more suited to long straights and the marathon, but often athletes are going for a little bit of a lower stack height these days. All right, let's have a wander around, let's see what other people are putting on their feet and seeing how they're getting ready. So we'll wander over here, see if we can find some of our female athletes as well. But Blake, he'll be going in the men's race. Windsor Slough and Eton athlete. Here we go. We'll head over here. Guys, welcome to Battersea. How are we doing? You're live on the live stream, and I've got some very simple questions for you. What are the wheels of choice this morning? So what are we putting on our feet and the reasons for it? I'm going to start here. I'm going to come all the way around the group. So nice and quick. The wheels of choice are.
Do you know what? I actually don't know.
Oh, well, there we
They
go.
were a gift, so I actually don't know. Some sort of Nike trainer.
Some form of Nike trainer. They look a little like a Vaporfly to me, but a gift. Hopefully they gift you a PB this morning, mate. Best of luck. What are we going for here?
Saucony something.
Saucony something.
Sponsorship. It's not come through yet.
Saucony, if you're tuning in, we're hoping for a sponsor here. What is amazing me, guys, is I thought this would be like a really detailed description of what you put on your feet. You guys don't seem to care, which is fantastic. So what have we got here? Sauconys as well?
Yeah, these are brand new. First run today. They're called I think they're called the Endorphin Pro 4s. But again, like the other guys, like half price on Vitality from sports shoes. I'm allowed to say that on here.
Bit of a plug there for sports shoes. You're absolutely allowed to say that. All right, well, best of luck, gents. Hope it goes well. Sauconys, however you want to pronounce it, but ultimately people are looking to run fast in these carbon shoes and going with personal preference. I'm going to go and try and find some of our female leading entries or some of the ladies who are about to race, but there are actually not too many around here, but I can see some on the track. So we'll have a quick look around. And like I say, the reason I'm asking this is because shoe choice plays such a big part with athletes these days, depending on the distance, the type of course, and with Battersea being fast and flat and a lot of corners, people are tending to go for that lower stack height and a little bit more stability. We're going to head over this way and head over towards where you can see the finish line, I believe, in the background. So athletes start on the track, they'll finish on the track as well. But they're using this nice grass area to get themselves nice and warm. Good morning, ladies. How are we feeling? All right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. I'm not going to know you too much. I'm not going to ask for predicted times. All I'm going to ask for is your shoe choice and the reasons for it.
I actually got gifted these, so I've been giving them a bit of a try. I like them for the 5 and the 10Ks. I don't know if I'm going to wear them for my marathon though.
Ah, so you've got a marathon coming up.
Yeah, London. So yeah, that's the big target for this year.
Brilliant. Here goes London, but a nice short, sharp 10K this morning. Best of luck. Yeah, so exactly what we're talking about. Not sure if they'll be suited for the marathon, but for 10K, they're going to go on. One more quick question. Is colour also a choice? Does it have to match?
Yeah, I've got a pink race top on, so you know, at least a few seconds if everything matches.
Look good, feel good, right? Best of luck out there. Hope it goes well. And we're just going to head a little bit further over now. Head towards that finish area. Getting pointed over towards this section. And you'll see the ring, the PB bell. We're hoping for lots of PBs this morning. And you can see a lot of our elite athletes. I'm going to try and grab Omar, actually. Omar. Morning, sir. How are you? You good?
Yeah, except colding, I'm all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit cold. I'm asking all athletes what they've got on their feet this morning and the reason for it. Now, you've won many a top flight race. Hopefully you can go again this morning in Battersea. But what's the shoe choice?
I'm not choosing the shoes. I can't run any shoes, so I'm not prefer the shoe. A lot of people say the shoes make you faster, but I don't believe it. So if you work harder, you can fast with any shoes. So yeah, I'm not choosing any shoes. Yeah.
Best answer of the morning. Doesn't matter about the shoes. Do the training and you get out there, you can win anywhere. Well, best of luck. Hope it goes well this morning for you. So, yeah, we're about, 10? Let's have a quick look. Just over 10 minutes away from the start of the races this morning. You can see many people. I've got one of my old uni friends here. I'm going to go and catch up with Andy. How are we, Andy? You doing well?
How are you? Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good to see you. So a little bit of a backstory here. Andy used to compete with Ben and Matt, who founded RunThrough, with Parsi, who's really set up this top flight series. We all went to university at Loughborough together. Andy's making a bit of a comeback here. So Andy, I've been asking everybody about the shoe choice this morning, but I'm going to ask you what you're here for. Are you looking for a PB? You're looking to just go for season's best?
Preparing for London, really. Yeah. So it'll be the first race in London for a long time, coming back from 15 years of injury or so. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Whatever happens today happens. So yeah, maybe 32ish or so. Yeah.
Perfect. So preparing a London Marathon, going longer and starting off with a 10K in the year. Well, it's good to see you, mate. Yeah, really and hope you have a good one. Good to see you out there. I'm interrupting people as they're getting changed, but just a quick one whilst you're between shoes. Which one we going for and why?
Well, I love my Saucony Speeds for everything, training, sessions, everything else, but I've got my Vaporflies for the racing. But yeah, I don't know, they're a few years old now, so I definitely need to upgrade them at some point.
Well, hopefully, maybe a little bit of prize money today and you can upgrade them.
Yeah, there we go, that's the aim.
That's the aim. So a little bit of an older shoe choice. We've had people putting them on for the very first time. We've got people putting them on from 2 or 3 years ago. But I'm going to go over to one of our other female leading entries, and I'm just going to keep it very, very simple. I'm not going to put you on the spot, ask you for predicted times. I just want to know what your shoe choice is to help you on the Battersea 10K top flight this morning.
Oh, well, it's got to be the Ons. Yeah.
And Ons in particular, like On have brought out a lot of new shoes recently.
Yeah.
What's making these better than the older versions?
Well, to be honest, actually, this is my first time wearing Ons. Not first race, but I've recently become supported by them. So, yeah, really happy to kind of move over to the On brand and represent them.
Brilliant. Well, firstly, congratulations on the On deal. And bit of transition now to road from the cross from before Christmas?
Yeah, kind of reluctantly, but I've always felt very comfortable over the cross and never really found my feet on the track. But I do enjoy road running, so I'm sort of tentatively transitioning over now. Yeah, getting my feet stuck in the longer stuff maybe.
Oh, so a bit of a giveaway there. Potentially going longer, half marathons. Will we see you there one day?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a bit of a long time coming, and I feel like I'm sort of ready to make that step up now.
Well, best of luck today. Hope it goes well. Hope that good form continues at the 10K. That one question turned into a lot of questions, didn't it? But hopefully it's given you an insight into why people are here. Their build-ups for certain races. We've got people doing marathons. We've got people transitioning from cross-country over to the road. We've maybe got people looking to go to the 10K down to things like the 5K as they head on the track. We'll see super quick track times down here at Battersea as well. But everybody's here with a slightly different purpose, but ultimately they're looking to all run pretty quick, because that is why people come to Battersea. We're going to take ourselves back over towards the start line, because we've now got, about 5 minutes or so until we hit the live stream. As I mentioned, Cam is up there in the studio up in the northeast with Stacey and Rich. They'll bring you all that live action. They'll keep you posted with how that's going, and hopefully you're ready to tune in for what is a stacked day of athletics. We're kicking off in Battersea. The Keeley Classic is indoors today, but we're going to start you off in style with some fast times down here in the capital. And some people, interestingly, going to the London Marathon as well, whether that's some of the girls who've mentioned that they might be stepping up to marathon. Some have already got that booked in, ready for April 27th this year. We're back in the city of London. I can see Verity there as well. I think Verity's trying to keep herself warm, look, with a bit of a warmer suit. So Verity Hopkins, one of our leading female entries from Tonbridge AC. She had a cracking run in Valencia Marathon. I followed around in Valencia, and I think it's around about 2:36, I think, off the top of my head. Apologies if I've got that wrong, Verity. But yeah, it was a superb run. I was on a training camp with her up in Leeds. She was part of an endurance marathon camp up there in the north of England, and she's progressed really, really well. Actually from a horse riding background originally, I believe, Verity. Gemma Kersey's there as well. She's just striding over. Might see if I can grab Gemma quickly. Gemma, you're in the pit lane, and we're asking you what wheels are your choice, the choice of wheels this morning.
Mizuno Rebellion Pro.
Mizuno Rebellion Pro, nice. They look quite high. Did you get them at the last Battersea event? I know Mizuno did a big thing there. Are they slightly different ones?
No, I got these actually because I'm getting some kit from Mizuno. Thanks, Mizuno. I actually raced in Madrid on New Year, so I wasn't here for that, but I'm excited about racing today. So yeah.
Perfect. How did Madrid go? Give our audience the insight into the form you're in coming into Battersea.
I ran 34:12. It was 5 miles downhill and then like a 2K up. So it was interesting, but it was a great race. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, hopefully you can go a step better today. A little bit colder than Madrid.
A lot colder, and hopefully sub 34. Yeah.
Best of luck. Hope it goes well, Gemma. Enjoy it. Right, we're going to head back to the studio. The guys are ready to take you through the race action, so over and out.
2025, we're staying alive, people.
Right, so we are back live in the studio. Big thanks to Lewis Moses there. That was absolutely fantastic. Some real good interviews and some probing questions around footwear, which some people didn't actually know what footwear they had on, which was pretty surprising, but entertaining nonetheless. So what we're going to do now is I'll hand over to Stacey, who's going to give a quick recap on the Top Flight series, on the prize structure and the points set up with things there. So Stacey, take it away.
Yes, so how this all works is it is a series of races across the full year, actually. It's a race each month up and down the UK. We've got races all the way in north and in Scotland and down south of England as well. So for any race winner, you do do get £200 for the win, but we also do have some bonuses for times as well. So for today, for instance, for 10K, say a man does run under that 30-minute mark for 10K, all the women runs under 33:15, then you do get a £250 bonus. So there is some pretty good prize money up for grabs. And how this all works as well is there's some bigger prize money at the end of the series. So the more points you accumulate over the year, the more points that you get and the more winnings that you can get at the end of the year as well.
So yeah, as Stacey was mentioning there, obviously, you know, points being prizes in the Top Flight series. So 25 points for first place, and your 3 top scoring races throughout the series count that. Not also have we got the time bonuses, but we do have cash prizes on the day. So £200 for the win and £200 for a course record as well. So, you know, potentially you're looking at, if you can nab a course record, the win, and get under 30 minutes, there's £650 there for first place. So there's not many races in the UK that'll be delivering that kind of coin fresh on a Saturday morning down in Battersea Park. So
Absolutely
anyway,
not.
nonetheless, we are getting towards the start time now. So how about we dive into the men's and women's fields a little bit more?
I think so. We did start off, just before we handed over to Lewis, we did start off with some of the women's field there. So I'll just continue with that. So we started off with Jess Gibbon. It was a little bit of a last-minute entry. Reading AC, so like we said, she came 6th at the British Cross Country Trials and 12th at the Euro Cross Country Championships as well. She has ran 15:47 for 5K, so she's pretty swift. Other big names that we've got, Lauren Hall from Aldershot. We've got Verity Hopkins from Tunbridge, Evie Locke from Thames Bridge, Phoebe Lowe from Kingston Poly, and who we've just seen there on the camera with Lewis is Gemma Kersey. Bit of a blast from the past. Great to see Gemma back running from Basildon. So we've got a really strong lineup on the women's series. I'll just hand over to the guys then. You can go through some of the men's field.
Yeah, it's just to match that up. I mean, pretty hot in the women's field, but the men's as well. I mean, there's some pretty. I mean, we expected some pretty dense fields with it being in Battersea, but we've got our very own Omar Ahmad's returning from Birchfield Harriers, last year's Top Flight Series winner. He was first in Fulham in 28:58. I think he'd went sub 29 minutes. Don't quote me on this exactly, but it was around about 5 or 6 times last year. I think, Red, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely 4 or 5 times he was sub 29 minutes.
And it was, you know, a strike rate of around about 80-90% for wins this last year. Just ones all over his power of 10. So I'm sure he'll be here trying to get his vengeance on Sam Gebri-Selassie, who's also here today. Our Newcastle 10K champion in 29:43. He was 5th at the Quayside 5K, but that was back in August 24, and we all know how quickly your shape can change and shift as we go through the year. You know, niggles get picked up, people are coming back from injury. It's always hard to tell at different times of the year where people are in good shape. Cameron Allen's here as well for our very own North East star. He's also Newcastle 10K champion last year. I know he's back down in London now, which is probably why he's appearing down there at Battersea. He's teaching down there, so we'll see how he's getting on with his shape. We've got Chris Brisley from Newham Essex Beagles. Josh Grace from Aldershot Farnham District always puts on a good performance. He was 6th in the Fulham 10K, but I think, you know, I know Josh, and when he's in good shape, he'll be challenging for the win today. But from what we can see on the camera now, people are towing the line, so we will get on with the race soon, and we'll bring you more of who else is in the race as we get underway.
Yeah, so we've got about a minute or so as you can see the elite field there just lining up, a minute or so before the race starts. Guys, how would you be feeling right now lining up? On a pretty, I think it's quite chilly today. On a cold Saturday morning in Battersea Park, how would you be feeling?
Yeah, I'd probably be thinking, God, I'm absolutely freezing here to start with. But yeah, I'd be, you know, for me, I was always a little bit nervous before start, so I was trying to just keep calm, trying to keep relaxed, and think, don't overcook at that first 1,000 meters, which is key in a 10K. It's key in any race not to cook at early doors. But yeah, I used to try and keep relaxed and think, right, it's a race of 2 halves. Control the first half, then start moving through the second half, and that was always a big thing for me. Cam, similar thoughts, would you say?
It's always a weird one. The anxiety sort of starts to take over when you're right about to toe the line. I think it's usually for me. It's always when I'm sort of doing strides right before I'm about to toe the line. You sort of drop your kit, you jump on the start line, you're ready to go. The nerves are kicking in, but as soon as that gun goes, that's it. But anyway, looks like we're about to get underway.
Yeah, so we'll hand over. We'll just go quiet for a second while we get these runners off, and then we'll dive back into the fields. We are underway now. You can see the athletes striking around that first bend there for the start of the Battersea 10K, our second top flight fixture of the series in 2025. So what we'll do now is we'll pull up a little graphic onto the screen for you. This will give you our start list for the men's and women's races. So that should be coming on any second now. But you can see Omar straight to the front there. This is how he attacks races. He hits the front hard and he just gets on with his running. Now, we did mention in the build-up to this race, has the blueprint been laid to beat Omar sitting on his shoulder? Because it's a hard task running from the front. You've not only got to be running quick, but you've also got the pressure of other athletes on your shoulder, and that does take energy, and it's a skill to be able to battle through a race on the front and keep that cool and keep that energy kept up there. So we can see Omar straight on the front, Cam Allen on his shoulder. And we're out into Battersea Park. So we'll bring that graphic on the screen for you as soon as possible with our start lists.
It's as we expected, to be fair. I think he's starting to change his tactics up just a little bit now compared to what we've seen previously. Because the last few races, I sort of seen him surging to the front, which was a little bit different to what he normally does, which is kind of go hard from the gun and try and gap everyone immediately. But both those times when he changed his tactics up and he sort of sat back and sort of let other people try and take the pace, maybe, I don't know, maybe he thought he was kind of sick of being the person at the front to kind of do all the work, but it didn't work out too well for him. So this is kind of his standard Omar Ahmed tactics we've seen, and it usually works out pretty well for him. But today we've got a pretty strong field. You can just see the tall figure of Cameron Allen from Horton Harriers in the background, just sitting on him now. I mean, to be honest, I don't think Omar's really taking much of the win for him. He's kind of towering over the back of him. But he's an extremely, extremely good athlete, talented athlete. And if he's in good shape, I can imagine he'll probably wouldn't be looking to let Omar get too far ahead of him and gap him too much. So we'll see how this plans out as we go around. We've got, like I say, we've got 4 laps. It always makes it more interesting. And I think, to be honest, psychologically, it's a little bit easier if you're a track runner. You just see Cam's quite happy to hit the front. So maybe he's in good shape, which is a good sign with potentially some exciting things to come, guys.
Do you know what? It is interesting. I mean, you can't knock Omar's confidence for going straight to the front there. Now, I am really pleased to see that he's actually sitting in behind another athlete instead of hitting the front. Maybe he has learned a little bit of the tactics coming back off the Newcastle 10K race where he did take it on. Sam Gabriel-Selassie did sit on his shoulder and went for the kick at the end. And maybe he's gone, actually, I'm going to try things a little bit new for this next race and see if I can try a new tactic and go for the win. So yeah, I'm really, you can't knock his confidence, certainly. And he is just checking his watch there. So he's making sure that he is on pace, or perhaps they're looking at going for a course record. Who knows as this race pans out, and we will double check what the timings are. We should hopefully have some splits for you throughout the race. So we will bring that to you as well. But really great to see Omar mixing it up a little bit slightly with the tactics, and we've got a really good bunch of athletes there at the front. So we've got Cam Allen, that is Omar Ahmed, Sam is there, I think he's sitting there in 4th as well. So just like what he did at Newcastle, he's sitting there like a hawk. He's biding his time and just sitting there quite comfortable. And as we get on throughout the race, we will start to pick out some of the athletes and talk a little bit more about their journey and their story.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned there is it's really key, actually, about Sam Gabriel-Selassie there. So Sam Gabriel-Selassie, he obviously knows how to win because he won in Newcastle. And now, he's doing the right thing here. He's just sitting back. He's letting the other athletes do the work, but he's not even right on the shoulder, so there's no pressure there. He's just watching it all unfold. He can cover the moves, and he's got a lovely, smooth, silky style. So, you know, Sam Gabriselassie there, sat in, knows what he's doing, and he's just watching this race unfold. And that, for me, is one of the greatest positions to be in, because slightly different to Cam and Omar, who are on the front there. There's a different strain when you're on the front, whether you're sat on the shoulder as opposed to being sat in that pack and just relaxing and watching it all unfold. So, yeah, I think that's brilliant what Sam Gabriselassie doing there.
Absolutely, and we can just see a camera on the women's race there. So as always, Top Flight, we try and give equal coverage to the men's and women's race. Logistically, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, but we do try and cover as much of the women's race as possible. Now, you can see Battersea Park is a little bit busy this morning, but I think we do have in the women's field, I believe that to be Jess Gibbon at the front there. So as the race pans out and we start to get a little bit more coverage on the women, we will bring you some more information on that as well.
Yeah, Jess Gibbon there. She was 12th at the Eurocross and part of that silver medal winning GB team there. So that, you know, she's obviously in form. 15:47 PB for 5K last year, and she was also second in the home countries last weekend, representing England in Leeds. So, you know, she's had 3 races in 2025 and 3 podium finishes. So, full of confidence there, knows what she's about, knows what skill set she's got in her locker, so she's got in with a good group there, and has just nestled away attacking this race. I think one athlete I do want to give a shout out to, because I cooked them in the start list last night when I was doing a little bit of research there, is a gentleman called Alex Milne. He was 7th in the World 100k Championships in 6 hours and 43 minutes. So just to put that in context, for 100k, he was averaging around 4 minutes per kilometre. So that's 40 minutes per 10k times 10. So that is a phenomenal run. And talk about mental strength. You know, that's next level kind of stuff. So big shout out Alex Milne there. He's nestled in this field somewhere. But yeah, brilliant to see that we've got such a range of athletes coming to these events. So can you believe it? On maybe my mic isn't working. The loudest man in the studio might be the quietest man in the studio today. So yeah, apologies if there was any issues with the stream. Honestly, all my content was top class. So if you missed it, yeah.
Now, just going back to the men's race, I've got a great bunch of men there. And I can just see that. Did you see that with that little move from Sal Gab? So warning the athlete behind him that there was a cone in the way. So that is top marks to him for good sportsmanship there. Just giving a warning to the athletes behind him. That's top marks for him. So yeah, we've got a bunch of 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 guys there at the head of the men's race. Switching back over to the women's, that I can just see Jess. I think she's out there on her own. Now we've said this before. This is one of the benefits of women and men racing within the same field, is that women can perhaps, if we have some really top class, high level athletes, they can use some of the men in the pack there as a bit of a windshield, bit of a pacemaker. So that it's not necessarily that they're out there on their own. Sometimes you do see it when you have a split between men's and women's fields, as if we have a really top class, high level athlete and they're going for a PB or a time. Sometimes you can find you a little bit in no man's land. So it is one of the benefits of racing with the men and women together.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. I mean, there was talk at some point of Chris organising a women's only race. But I think the general consensus has been that, you know, generally the ladies do enjoy running with the men. You know, having somebody else to run with at the front, it really stretches you right all the way through the race. So I think we'd expect, if Jess is in good shape, especially on a course like this where it's flat as a pancake, we'd expect her to potentially run a pretty quick time here. You can just see the crowds as well. We were talking about the crowds earlier, about it's a 4-lap course and how it makes better for watching the race. Well, you just look at the crowds there already, just be coming round into to finish sort of lap 1. There's people streamed all across the course watching this race. I mean, I know it's centre of London, but it makes a fantastic watching, especially if I mean it's similar to the Euro Cross Country. They're kind of cutting down and making short lap cross country courses as well. And I know Podium kind of have done a similar thing as well with theirs as well. So I think this is a great course, and also as well, it's good for when you're trying to sort of maximise where you are in the race and really try and figure out your pacing lap per lap as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've discussed this in the past on our podcasts, which you can catch on the YouTube channel. But yeah, we've mentioned this in the past, and one big loop versus multiple loops for races. And I've always been of the mindset that shorter laps sometimes can be mentally challenging, but actually from an atmosphere point of view, you get a real buzz from the crowd because they can be littered around the course in quite a short space, whereas the bigger loops you'll go through sections of absolute silence, which can be demoralising, especially if you're solo. But back to the race itself, you can see a Morpeth Harrier vest in there. Lawrence McCourt, 30 minutes and 11 10K operator, so he's in that top pack there. Again, it looks like Cam Allen on the front, Omar Ahmed nestled in second place there, Sam Gabri-Selassie looking smooth. We've got Sefiu Jamal there to the left in the red vest. So these athletes they're just getting strung along to Cam Allen's tune at the moment.
Cam Allen has gone out there strong. He's leading the field. He's decided that no, he doesn't want to sit in and hold back from the pace. He's pushing the pace on. Now it'll be really interesting to see how this race pans out over the course of the next 10 minutes or so. See if Cam can hang on for the win or certainly a podium finish. But like what we saw in Newcastle, Omar really took on the pace there and he paid for it at the end. So hopefully Cam Allen has still got something in these legs as we head on to the second half of the race.
Yeah, we can see Jess Gibbon on the front there on the second stream. Cam, what do you think about Jess? She looks like she's forging on a little bit there and pushing on from the other athletes, so maybe trying to get on the back of another group. What do you think about her form?
I mean, I'm not a biomechanics expert, Rad, but I would say she looks pretty smooth indeed, and I think that's probably a reflection of the fact that we're not even halfway through the race yet. So she probably is quite relaxed at the moment. She's pacing it probably to you would imagine to being the experienced athlete that she is at the moment, and some of the experience she's had on the international scene. We'd expect to see that she's pretty good at pacing it and not overcooking it, as you were talking about earlier in the race. But it's a pretty similar sort of theme coming with a lot of the top ladies that we see in these races, where they pace the race just right, and they start to you'll see that she'll work her way through the field and she'll start picking off all the men. And I think again, going back to what you said about overcooking it, it's so common where you see runners in a 10K race, they'll go off in the first 5K, usually the first couple of K, way too quickly, and they sort of start to dwell, and the pain starts to kick in. You realise you've got another 15-20 minutes of running. But if you're an experienced athlete and you pace it just right and you don't hit, it's important you don't go over that red line. And when I say red line, you're talking about, if you're going into physiology, you don't want to be going over that, flooding the body with lactate too early on. You can start really sort of pick up the momentum and start picking people off left, right and centre. And I think that's what we will see with Jess Gibbon as the race unfolds.
Yeah, 100%, Cam. I think that's really useful information that you mentioned there about the red line, because we've all been there, we've overcooked it in races and it ruins the race. So what Jess Gibbon's doing now is fantastic running, and actually you can see her pulling on the group in front, so that's really encouraging. So if you're down there trackside, please get behind Jess Gibbon, because she's having a fantastic running and she looks like she's timing it wonderfully. Back to the second stream that we've got, there's been some big developments in the men's race here. We've got Cam Allen and Omar Ahmed have broke away from the group. Now, that's a big move because there's some quality operators in that second group that they're left behind there. And surprisingly, it's not Omar Ahmed that's on the front. Cam Allen is doing all the work here, but he's taken it to the field. And maybe he's thought, we've seen that Sam Gabri-Selassie, the way that he beat Omar Ahmed. Well, maybe Cam Allen's thought today, well, I'm going to beat her as well, but I'm going to do it a slightly different way. So we've got these two guys that really struck out at the front. They're going to be approaching the halfway mark now. So, yeah, big changes in the men's race, and back to the second stream and the women's race, and Jess Gibbon is slowly hauling in that group in front. So some fantastic performances at both ends of the race here.
Going back to what we were talking about with the form with Jess Gibbon, I mean, I'm just watching her now. She's very, very fluent, isn't she? Yes. The knee lift's not too high when she's on the road. She's, very symmetrical when she's running. And again, maybe it is early on, so whether that'll start to dwindle a little bit, I mean, that would be natural. But yeah, it's yeah, she's sort of working her way through the field, and she looks like she's running pretty even pace at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, talking of pace, Cam, I'm gonna hand you over to Stacey Smith here because I think she might have some splits for us.
Yes, we just have a couple of splits coming through there from 1K. Now, it did happen obviously quite a while ago into the race, but we will have splits for 5K, which should be coming up relatively soon. So we will get that to you as soon as we have that after the results come through. If you do check the RunThrough website, actually, you can actually see the live results come through as they go through the checkpoints. And we will have a checkpoint at 5K and at 9K as well. So if you do fancy having a look at live what's going on the results for yourself, then you can head over to the RunThrough results webpage and have a little look for yourself. But we will be talking obviously about this as the race pans on and they do go through the various checkpoints.
Look at Jess Gibbon there. She's hauled that group in and now she's moved to the front of it. So she's really rolling towards the second half of the race now. And I think with 10K, it's, you know, it's 6 miles. It's a long way. So timing it right, it's key with these type of races. But she looks as though she's done that. And yeah, she's on the move and she's moving through the field. So that's going to be brilliant for Jess Gibbon. She's going to have lots of athletes in front of her that she's able to pull on. And onto the men's field, Omar Ahmed's hit the front, Cam.
Do you know what? Just before Omar hit the front, I was about to go on to that actually, Reds, and it's interesting because look, I think that we see this is again. I think this is a repeat of the last 2 races when he's been beaten, and you know, obviously we haven't spoken to him. I haven't personally. I don't know what kind of shape he's in, whether or not maybe he went through a blip over Christmas, a little bit of a struggle. I think I remember speaking to Parsi, and I think that he did say that there was something going on, but normally he likes to hit the front and run away from people, and I think that's his strength. I'll be honest. I think that he's a strong athlete and he can run, you know, pretty, you know, efficiently at a pretty swift pace and hold that for a long period, you know, an extended period of time. And I think that's when he probably gained some confidence as well.
Yeah.
But he seems to be surging, and then he sits back in again, and then he surges again. He's done that already again today. Whether or not he'll be happy to sit in again behind Cam Allen, I don't know. I think Cam Allen personally is running his own race here, which is why he hit the front so early on when Omar dropped back. And I think that was intentional from Omar to sort of sit back. But when you don't have that confidence of your shape going into a race, you're less inclined in a field like this to be hitting the front. So will Cam Allen be happy to sit on him? Yes. Is it dangerous territory for Omar to allow Cam Allen to sit on him and really not grind the pace? Because I think if you're going to hit the front and you're going to try and run the race out of Cam Allen, you can just see, like I was just saying, Cam Allen's hit the front again, so Omar's decided to surge and then sit back in. Does this suit how he runs the race? Does this suit his physiology, the way he trains? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
but it's dangerous. You know, we've seen Cam Allen at the Newcastle 10K last year in 2023 when he had a sprint finish against Callum Johnson. I mean, that was an exciting race. But he's got a big kick, and you know when those levers get going, and in your words, when the arms are pumping and the legs are
pumping and the legs are driving, there's no stopping Cam Allen. And I'll tell you why. He's got a 151.800 to his name. He's a low 340 1500 meter runner. I would imagine he's much quicker in terms of basic speed than Omar Ahmed is. Cam, I do totally agree with you. One thing I will say though is I think with different races you get different levels of competition, and I think Omar Ahmed's in some of his races maybe hasn't had the athletes that have been in the race that can push him like Cam Allen can. So Cam Allen can almost sit back and think, well, I can run with you, I can run in front of you, but I can sit on you as well because I know what kind of shape I'm in. Yes, you know, disappointing from Omar at Newcastle. I think he was just under the 30-minute mark, which when you've ran 28:30 something, that's a long way off where you would expect him to be. But yes, I do agree with the sentiments of what you're saying there, Cam. Stacey, I'll hand back over to you because I think, again, it looks like Jess Gibbon is plowing through this field.
Yeah, I just want to touch back on that. We just got the 5K splits for the men's going through that checkpoint there. We do have Sam Gabriel-Selassie going through in 14:25. And as I'm going through the rest of the results there, we'll try and get the Cam Allen, his 5K split was 14:17. So they're on for...
These are rats.
Yeah, we're
14:17.
on for a pretty quick time here. So do keep an eye out on the clock. We will have another checkpoint coming up, and we will keep you up to date with the next checkpoint. But yeah, 14:17 for 5K halfway throughout this race. That is quick.
These guys are shake, rattling and rolling on the front there. 14:17 at the halfway mark. We're on for a sub 29-minute performance here. So it sounds like Top Flight could be paying out heavy this morning. Stacey, would you also keep an eye out for Jess Gibbons splitting the 5K mark? Because we'll bring the viewers that, because I'm really intrigued to see how quick this girl's running, because she is motoring through that field. She's pushing on in the second half of that race, but 14:17 at the halfway mark for Omar Ahmed and Cam Allen.
So Jess, sorry to interrupt you there, Rich. Jess Gibbons split for 5K 16:03.
16:03, so we're in low
32s.
Shape,
yeah.
So that's this is a big run from Jess Gibbon as well. But we had that feeling. Now, I will tell you what will be intriguing to see what time Jess Gibbon finishes on here, because to me it looks like she's moving through the field. I would imagine she's picking up and picking up and picking up and going to be closing with a big last K. I may be wrong, but we'll have to keep an eye out for Jess Gibbons' time at the finish there. Back to the men's race, Omar and Cam side by side here, and you know what? They both look fantastic considering
They really do. They both look very, very strong, very comfortable. They have completely left the rest of the field. Now, this is surprising. We saw the strength from Sam Gabriselassie in Newcastle 10K. Where is he? What has happened to Sam? How comes there's such a big gap on the rest of the field now?
I think the gap is because of how quick they're going. I mean, Sam Gabriselassie ran a PB at 29:43 at Newcastle, which is a fantastic run. But to be running that kind of pace, he's going to be going through halfway in about 14:50 something. Today, they've gone through around about 30 seconds quicker than that, which, you know, it's big running on the front from them too, and that's why they're so far ahead. Cam, I'll hold it to you. I can see you itching to say something in the studio here, Cam.
Thanks, Red. I think, I was just pointing to Red. The reason he said that is I was just pointing at Kamal to my face, because only about 15 seconds ago, 100, 200 meters ago, it looked to me as if Omar was testing the waters again, and he was starting to put a bit of a surge in, and you can just see they're constantly switching, side by side, and then one's in front of the other. But Cam Allen was really starting to grimace. What was interesting here is that although he was starting to grimace, Cam Allen decided to hit the front again and push the pace on again. So it's as if he's just trying to sort of play Omar against his own game. And every time Omar hits the front, and I think that Omar, I keep seeing him look behind him, and it is a real surge in pace because there's a sudden gap that opens up. But it's like Cam Allen's just thought, if you're going to do it, then I'll do it again. And I'll show you that I'm still here, I'm still in good shape. I'm not worried about this, but it does look, I think that's ever so slightly downhill. I don't know if it's just the camera angle, but it's hard to tell. But if it is, I mean, that does favour Cam's sort of running style, because he's got very long limbs indeed.
Yeah, he does.
But it'll be interesting to see. This is a key point, a real pivotal point in the race, because we're coming up to about 2K to go, and if you're going to go now and you're going to put a big burst in, you kind of want to be able to just really go for it and commit to it. But it doesn't look like he's willing to do that, because Omar is hitting the front once again. But here you can just see there's a gap. There will be a small gap open up. Cam Allen's starting to grimace. Omar looks like he's picked the pace up to what he was doing. His cadence has increased. Yet the gap will open up a little bit, but will Cam Allen allow that to develop? That's the question.
I think we're seeing Omar really push the pace on now, and he's trying to get a gap on Cam Allen. I think he's deliberately picking up that pace there to try and shake him off. Do you think is he almost like doing these surges and then holding back and surge? What is he trying to do here? Is he trying to play into the tactics of hopefully zapping Cameron Allen's legs? Is this what it is?
It's not a common form of racing that we like, a style of racing that we see in the UK that often. We don't get many surging runners, but we know a lot of the Ethiopians, a lot of the Kenyans, they run in surging fashion, and it can be demoralising. It can break athletes, but also, for me, it's a dangerous game because it works on the flip side as well. Now, for Omar, if he's putting in these surges and he's not shaking Cam Allen, then Cam Allen is hurting, but he thinks, right, well, I'm going to go at the front and I'm going to hurt you a little bit now. It then becomes a bit demoralising for the athlete that's doing the surgeon. So it's a dangerous game to play surgeon, because you're flicking in and out of energy systems during the race. You can drain your own tank there, especially when you're hitting the front and you're not going with the pack there. So you know, these two, it's real cat and mouse. I did think it was a definitive move from Omar, you know,
Yeah.
about 400 metres ago, but it looks like he settled back in, and now it's Cam Allen's turn to think, right, well, I'm going to hurt you for a little bit.
I think the key is that when you kind of are trying to race like that, and I feel like Omar keeps on trying to test the waters and see if there's any reaction from Cam, see if you can put a gap in him. Because if you get that, if you put a little surge in and you see someone not responding, you know, it gives you that confidence to say, right, this is the time to go, because he's not going to respond. You may only get one chance at this if you start flooding the body with a lactate and you push away. If you get that gap, it breaks you as an athlete, or potentially mentally breaks you. But if you look at the grimace on Cam Allen's face right now, he's hurting. But he is not going to let this get away. Omar's going to come to the front just again now. He's going to test the waters. I think this could be the one. This could be the gap that that he needs. But Callum is tough. Cam is tough. Cam is tough. I've seen him train so many times on his own down at Durham track with his dad. In the wind, in the rain, he doesn't allow anything to get in his way of hitting those times he needs to hit.
It's fantastic viewing this because Omar is playing such a game, and I wonder if he's just thought back on Newcastle and go, you know what, I was a bit of a mug. I took on the wind in the Newcastle 10K, and Sam sat on me. He did no work and he's thought, actually, I'm going to play my tactics completely differently for this race. I'm going to have a bit of a play around with the field here and see if I can go for a win in a separate tactic. But if Cam did watch that race, he would know that Omar doesn't have the strongest of kicks. So if Cam can just hang on, and I know he seems to be grimacing a little bit, but if he can hang on and if he's got something in his legs, he can potentially go for the kick, go for the win. He just needs to perhaps not play too much into Omar's games here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what is happening though. The temperature's rising at the front of that race, and these two guys are cooking up an absolute storm in that kitchen in Battersea Park there. So all eyes peeled on that. What I will say, we're going to dive back to that second stream there, because I keep on keeping an eye on Jess Gibbon here, and I watched her go past the athlete in the pink vest there, and now she's moving on to the back of another group. So, you know, fantastic running from Jess Gibbon here. I'm really excited to see if she can get close to that 32-minute mark and go sub 32, because that would be a huge performance for her this morning in Battersea Park. Back to the men's race, and it looks like it's now Cam Allen's turn on the front, and Cam Allen looks like he's hurting. He's working hard. Has he got a definitive gap here? It's so hard to see when the camera angle's front on. 1 minute we think one's going to get away, then the other one pulls them back in, then they hit the front. It's such a cat and mouse here, and we've probably got about another 2 minutes of running to go, so we're within 1,000 metres of the finish line now. And like I said before, these guys are really rattling and rolling at the front, aren't they, Cameron Boyack?
Looks to me like there's a gap opening up, and it looks like Cam Allen is increasing the pace. He's been grimacing now for about, I would say, a good 2.5, 3K right now, but it just shows how tough he really is. I know he's in good shape. He's raced a few times over cross country. He was a bronze medalist at the Glasgow UK Challenge, 4th place at the recent Leeds 1-2. I'm looking forward to seeing how fast he's actually going to finish here, because it looks like Omar's finally been broken, but Cameron, he cannot ease off the pace here. If he eases off the gas, Omar could start to reel him back in just a little bit.
So we have just gotten through the 9K split for the men. Cam Allen, 26 minutes through 9K, going into the last K now. So we've got maybe, less than a minute to go, I would say. They're probably coming up to the sprint finish. Now, I think that we are seeing Cam Allen pull away, just like what we saw in Newcastle 10K. Sam Gabriel-Selassie pulled away from Omar, went for the kick. Is Cam Allen, he's got one hell of a gap now on Omar.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Stacey, we were 26 minutes at the 9K mark, so they're going to be coming home in under 29 minutes, both of these athletes here. Now it's a case of Cam Allen against the clock, because he has absolutely gapped Omar this last K there. So I'm so intrigued to see how quick he's going, Cam. If he's knocking in a 2:40K, you're on for a 28-minute 40 10K, which is fantastic running. We can also see Jess Gibbon, the cadence looks as though it's picked up a little bit, the stride looks a bit longer, and I will say the arms are pumping and the knees are driving a little bit there. So Jess Gibbon also on for a quick time. We'll bring you her 9K split as soon as we can get that. But Cam Allen is destroyed Omar Ahmed this last K. Yeah, this is fantastic running.
I'm so impressed with Cam Allen, the fact that he's not played into Omar's games at all. Omar, we've seen throughout this race him doing a little bit of a cat and mouse tactic, pushing pushing the pace on, going for the surges. Has this been the downfall of Omar for this race? And maybe he should have hung on a little bit more, maybe scale back that pace. Now we've got Cam Allen. He's on the track. He's going for the sprint finish. This is our winner for the Battersea 10K. Congratulations to Cam Allen. What an impressive performance that we have seen here.
Keep your eyes on the clock. 28:46 unofficially across the line, and it looks like our cameraman Danny Greer is taking a tumble there. That's how quick Cam Allen was going, ladies and gentlemen. So Danny Greer across the line and Cam Allen across the line. Omar Ahmed there, sub 29 minutes. So Omar's got to be pleased with that. It's still a fantastic run, but now we've seen the men's race unfold there in a fantastic time. All eyes on Jess Gibbon now, Cam.
All eyes on Jess Gibbon.
Absolutely.
I will try and get her splits up. Sorry, Cam, to interrupt you there.
Sam Gabri-Selassie in third place now, 29:20, Cam. That's a big PB for him.
There's some big PBs coming through right now. A lot of that. How many is that now? That must be 5, 6, almost 6 men under 29:30, just outside there, I think. For the next athlete to come through. But I think, yeah, looking back at Jess, I mean, she's got a few athletes in front of her to chase down. Coming into her final K now as well. Could she pick these off? I mean, it looks like she's already gaining ground on them. As you've already said, the cadence looks to have increased. Slightly tenser on her upper body, but you would expect that coming towards the end of a 10K. I can imagine she's really grinding away here. She's an experienced athlete. She's run internationally before, 12th at the Eurocross. You do not come in the top 15 at Eurocross by mistake. She's a fantastic athlete.
So Jess Gibbon split through 9K was 29:16. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we can see her break 33 minutes. I think she will break 33 coming into that last K there.
Yeah, I would think she's going to go sub 33 there. I think the sub 32 is off the cards, but still fantastic running from Jess Gibbon here. And if you look at her now, like Cam's mentioned, she's in full floor now. She's got about 800 meters to go, so this is fantastic running from Jess Gibbon there. You see all these athletes strewn across the line. I tell you what, Top Flight will be paying out today because there was a lot of athletes under 30 minutes there. So all them athletes are taking home £200 regardless of where they finished in the race there.
Cam Allen's official time was 28:45. Omar Ahmed 28:54. Sam Gabri-Selassie 29:19. Now we will double check on what their PBs are, but I think we've got some pretty sharp PBs there for today.
Well, I tell you what, I spoke to Cam Allen and his dad on the track about this time last year, and I know that he mentioned that he was relocating to London to be closer to his coach, Craig Winrow. And I tell you what, that move has certainly paid off because he is in fantastic form. He's in the shape of his life right now. In a faster race, if he had been pulled along a little bit more by him throughout the race, maybe he would have run a little bit quicker even. I think that's yet to be seen. So I think as we go on through the season, if we can get him back, could be on for a higher, or maybe sub 28:30.
Absolutely. I mean, anything's on the cards, and I think from an athlete's point of view, you're in a race, you're in a quick time, you're happy for about 30 seconds, then you're on to the next one. You're thinking, right, well, what can I do next? How quick can I actually go? So, yeah, phenomenal run from Cam Allen there. Also, a name to point out in the results, we've got Tom Hoogboom from... who's unattached, I think a Norwegian athlete, 29:33. So that's a big clock in for him. I was looking at his World Athletics profile last night. But back to the race, Jess Gibbon is flying down that home straight now, having a battle with the man in the pink vest. Jess Gibbon flying towards the finish line, and keep your eyes on the clock here because it's going to be sub 32:30, which is a big run for her. Here we go, across the line, 32 minutes and 20 seconds. Fantastic running from Jess Gibbon there. First place, maximum points in the Top Flight series of the Battersea Park fixture. Brilliant running there, Jess. Well done.
And I do believe that time from Cam Allen is actually the fastest time on UK soil this year. So considering it's a bit of a chilly day at Battersea Park this morning, that is absolutely unbelievable. And again, I wonder if Omar's going to go away from this and kind of go, I'm just not getting my tactics right at these races, kind of go, let's go back to the drawing board. What can I do next to try and get a win?
Yeah, because I think with Omar, what he can't be disappointed in is his actual performance time-wise, because he's not a million miles away from his PB. So, yeah, he's had a good run, but maybe the tactics aren't aren't fully there yet. I can see our second place athlete across the line there.
Yeah, so
Aldershot Farnham.
Jess Gibbons' official time was 32:29, and we will try and get
I think it's Lauren Hall who was second there.
I've just seen Lauren Hall come through. I think that was around about 33:20, bearing in mind a few seconds with the clocks.
So Lauren going into this race did have a PB of 32:39, but that was set in 2024.
Well, that's a big improvement on her 33:42 at Valencia 10K. So
Actually,
she's obviously.
We've jumped the gun a little bit.
Yep.
It was Ellen Weir who was second place from Thames Hove Harriers. So yeah, what time did we get for?
32:14 for Ellen Weir.
Yeah.
32:14, did you say?
We'll have to get
33.
official confirmation on that time there.
Yeah, we're just refreshing our screens
there
there.
might be a potential mistake there, actually.
Yeah, we'll just refresh the screens and we'll try and get you the official
absolutely.
results.
So you can see the athletes still stewing across the line there. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the race, and we're looking at round about the 34-minute mark. You know, still some fantastic times coming across the line there. There's still a few other athletes that we'd want to keep an eye on there. Gemma Kersey being one of them. I'd seen that Gemma Kersey was in the build-up to a big half marathon in April. I think she's looking to do Berlin half marathon there. So this is all part of a big training block. So it'll be interesting to see how Gemma Kersey goes today. Talk about an athlete with range. I can remember Gemma Kersey back in the day running 2:06 for 800 metres and 14:13 for 1500 metres. So she's moved up the distances as her career's progressed. So all eyes peeled on her. We had Verity Hopkins, a Tunbridge athlete in there, and Evie Locke that we were curious to see how they performed as well. We've also got Martina Connor, New Zealand international, stepping onto the start line today. She had a PB of 16:45. So again, all eyes peeled on those athletes coming across the line.
And now we have just got the official results through for the women. So in second position, we can confirm that it was Lauren Hall from Aldershot, Farnham and District, and she finished in 33:15.
So yeah, a season's best for Lauren Hall then. She ran 33:47 in Valencia. And as we know from Rory Leonard's British Road K 10K record that you can actually watch an interview on our YouTube channel with, it's a very quick course. So 33:47 at Valencia for Lauren Hall. She's just smashed that time in Battersea Park this morning. So shout out to Lauren Hall. That's fantastic running there.
And then in third position for the women, we have Verity Hopkins from Tonbridge. She finished in 33:36. So congratulations to Verity as well.
Yeah, another strong athlete there, Verity Hopkins, Stacey. That clocked she'd ran a 2:34 marathon. And can you guess where she ran a 2:34 marathon? It's been very apt today. It's quick.
Valencia.
Exactly. Everyone's running quick in Valencia. But people are running quicker in Battersea Park today, part of the top flight fixture.
This is, well, no, looks like Battersea Park Top Flight Series is the place to be now. Never mind
Absolutely.
Valencia.
And we
None
will...
of these flights out all to the sunny country. You can do it on a cold, wet morning in Battersea.
Yeah.
And there you go.
And we will be back here, actually. We do have a couple more fixtures in for Battersea Park. So on 19th of April, we will be back here for a 5K race. And then we will be back in Battersea Park for another 5K race on the 25th of June. So if you do fancy joining us at Battersea, you've got two options there to get yourself involved, as well as plenty of other races that RunThrough do organise as well. And if you did not know, we have a brand new podcast where we will be covering lots of information on all of the top flight series and the information, but we're also going to be doing a little bit of some different types of coverage, and we're calling it Top Flight Unfiltered, aren't we,
Yeah,
Rich?
it's a little bit away from the top flight series and more about, you know, the general athletics world, bringing you news, stories from around the world, different themes, different training themes. There's lots of chat in there, but yeah, we think there's a market there, and we think we can do pretty good. So we're gonna capitalise on that. So look out for Top Flight Unfiltered. That pod will be getting dropped in the next couple of weeks. We have recorded our first one, and let me tell you now, it's a little bit of a cracker. Cam Boyack isn't there, which was unfortunate, but he will be there for the next one. What I will say, what I can confirm from Chris Parr, race director, is that Jess Gibbon is taking home a whopping prize money of £650 today. 200 for the win. She also clocked money for the top flight bonus, for going under the 33.15 mark, and also a championship record bonus as well. So that's a good payday for Jess Gibbon, isn't it, Cam? She's got a lot more than me, you and Stacey are getting in the studio this morning. I think we need to revisit our contract, Mr. Race Director.
I think he's already bankrupt after this race. I can just see him now. The sweat patches are already growing. It's quite a fantastic round. I think well deserved as well. To go out and do that when you've not in contention with any of the females other than yourself. You've really got to be tough to do that.
Yeah.
And really be fixated on running the best race you can run when you've got no competition around you. Just another big shout out, because I know Pazzi's pretty over the moon for him. Big Larry Mack, coached by Laura Waitman. 29.34 personal best from Morpeth Harriers. Big shout out to Larry. Great running.
His first time sub 30.
And he doesn't just, I tell you what, I mean, I've never run a 10K, but I'm assuming if you're a guy and you're going to go sub 30 minutes, you may as well just go flying under that 30-minute barrier. So yeah, well worth the trip for him. I'm sure he'll be happy, and I'm sure he'll treat himself to maybe some kind of celebration.
I'm sure we'll have a celebratory pint. So what we will do for you is we'll bring you a recap of the full results. I've got Stacey Smith tapping away on the laptop next to me here, trying to get us the top 10s for the men's and women's field there. So we will give you a rundown of that when we can. We'll give you an idea of the times that the athletes were running. But I mean, I think it was pretty evident. It was very quick at the front anyway. Cam Allen and Omar Ahmed, sub 29 minutes, and a whole host of athletes under that 30-minute barrier. And then Jess Gibbon setting a new PB, course record, and getting the top flight bonus there. So we know that Battersea Park's quick. We've always known Battersea Park's a quick course, but I think today it's really delivered. And we can see there, we've got Sam Gabry-Slassie, Cam Allen, and Omar Ahmed, our top 3 men there. And Lewis Moses are loitering with a microphone, so he'll either be asking them about their shoes or how they found the race.
I mean, Cam Allen sprinted so fast that our cameraman went on the floor on the deck. I hope he's off to see first aid. I hope he's all right.
You know what? I don't want to slant on Danny, but he's got an electric bike as well. So that just shows how quick Cam Allen was going there, because the electric bike couldn't keep up. I think we need to upgrade Danny to a quad bike for the next time he's in Battersea Park there.
Maybe some stabilisers instead.
But absolutely, a shout out to Danny Greer, actually, because he does a fantastic job on these streams here, and it's not an easy task to do. So yeah, big shout out to him. We can see Lauren Hall there, the Aldershot athlete who clocked 2nd place, so big run from her, big season's best. Cam, I feel like you've got something to say. I can see you jittering about on your seat a little bit. So we don't know whether we're going to actually get some interviews from live from trackside. It wasn't part of the planned schedule, but you know, we're flexible, we're adaptive at Top Flight here, so we may cut across live on the stream to see if Lewis Moses can get himself in a position for some interviews. I can see him dotting around with his bag there. But yeah, you know, a fantastic fixture from Battersea Park this morning. I'm sure you would both agree, and it was a fantastic race to watch unfold as well. That cat and mouse between Cam and Omar really took off around about the 5K mark there. And, you know, just to give the viewers an insight, you know, there'll be a lot of park runners that may watch this stream 14:17 through the halfway mark. So if you think about how quick normal park runs get running, that really gives you an insight into, you know, the quality of these athletes at the front of both the men's and women's races in these top flight fixtures.
Indeed. I think it's like we've already said in the race, it's really hard to touch that, to sort of, you know, scope out as to whether Omar's either going through a difficult patch, because obviously we've seen him, you know, run away from races in the past. But I think genuinely it's today, you know, Cam Allen was just too good. Like he was fantastic. You know, he was strong, 28:40, but that was with pulling away in a fast last 1 kilometre, to be honest. You know, it kind of makes it look so easy because he's so fluent with his long legs.
But yeah, and just to touch a little bit more on that prize money that you mentioned before, just to confirm from the men's side, they have actually got some pretty decent prize money from today. So in first position, 450 quid in their pocket. Second, £200. Third, walked away with 175. In fourth, £150. Fifth, 125. Sixth, 100. Seventh, 75. And eighth, 50 quid. Not bad for a Saturday morning. And I do believe that we are going to be handing over again to Lewis Moses, who was on the ground. He's going to try and get some words from the athletes there and see if he can get some weird and wonderful questions in there.
Okay, welcome back to Battersea Park. We're down here live at the finish and we're going to go with the men's podium. Super quick time. In fact, it was the fastest time on UK soil this year in 2025. We're going to go in reverse order though. We're going to go from third to first. So in third place this morning, he's a regular at the top flight. It was Sam Gabriselassie. In second place with an absolutely storming 28.56, going sub 29, Omar Ahmed. And in first place this morning, as I mentioned, the fastest time on UK soil this year in a time of 28.45 from the northeast of England, it was Cameron Allen. 28.46 officially on the results for Cameron. Well done, gents. That is your podium at the men's top flight this morning. Super quick times in Battersea, great conditions. And just another example of how fast our elite British athletes can go. We're going to get the checks and the champagne out for the guys, and then we're going to get the ladies up on stage as well. You can see Cam being presented with a check, £450 in prize money. That prize money initiative in place with all the top flight races, enticing people to run faster and faster and bringing out the best in British athletics. So a big well done to our gents. Next up, we're going to get the ladies, going to make sure we're all here. And I'm going to start off with the third place female finisher in a time of 33.41 from Tonbridge Harriers. It is Verity Hopkins. Big well done to Verity. In second place, again a storming time of 33.21 from AFD, it is Lauren Hall. Well done to Lauren. Super quick times from the ladies this morning. And in first place, again, the fastest time by a female on UK soil this year in 2025, ranking her in the top 10 British rankings so far in a time of 32.33. It is Jess Gibbon. Big well done to our ladies. They're all getting their kit vouchers. They're going to get the champagne out. They're going to get their flowers. And most importantly, Jess is going to get a big whopping check as well to be presented with. The champagne will be flowing in a second. Jess takes home a total of £650. Not bad for a morning's work, eh? Probably one of the highest paid sports people on the planet right now. 650 quid for half an hour's work. It's not a bad hourly rate, is it? We're just going to get Cam and Jess back on the podium, so we're going to take our men and women's winner on top of the podium together. And I believe, ladies and gents, we're also going to crack that champagne open. Now, it's up to you where you spray it, but please try and avoid the media team down here. We don't need damage on the cameras, and we also don't want to get cold. But they're going to pop the corks, and quite rightly so. We've had some fast racing down here in Battersea. It's always quick down here in London, but this morning has been ultra special. A big thanks to the Top Flight team, who've not only been great on the day organising the event, they've also pulled together another cracking lineup, and they have delivered. So, in true celebration style, Cam Allen, he's going to try and pop that cork. Who's going to win this race? Jess or Cam? Jess gets there first and decides to absolutely cake him in the champers. I mean, just what you need. On a cold day in Battersea, Jess goes for full-blown champagne coverage. And we're just going to grab a quick interview with both our winners and make sure we get the pictures as well. So I'm going to kick off with Jess. Jess, I managed to grab you before the start, and you said you were making the transition from cross-country to road. Yeah. How was that transition? Happy with that this morning?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I mean, aim wasn't to put myself in the bin because I've got a national cross next Saturday, so just thought I'd come out and give it a solid effort. I live in Battersea, so it's on my doorstep, so I thought, why not? Got a last-minute entry yesterday, so thanks to Chris for that, and yeah, really enjoyed it. I think I still struggle a little bit on the roads mentally. I was saying, I'm not very good at being in my own head, but yeah, it's good. Enjoyed it.
I'm sure it'll come with practice. The good thing about living close to Battersea, you could now go and get showered after you've just sprayed yourselves. But Cam has got to go back up to the northeast. Oh, you're right, Cam. No, where are you living now then?
I live in Richmond in London, so I'm not too far away either. About a 20-minute train, so.
Richmond Hill's been paying off with the training then, whilst you sip that champers?
Yeah, it has actually. Yeah, it's been good. It's a great place to train, and there's so many people in the area, so it's quite nice.
And happy with that the time this morning, Cam? I mean, that's super fast. 28:46 officially on the clock. As I mentioned, the only people faster than you, well, both of you in the UK, were from Valencia this year, but that's the fastest time by a lady and a man in the UK this year. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, really pleased. Like, I honestly wasn't expecting to go under 29, so. But, I mean, me and Omar were working really well, like, pretty much all race, so it was quite nice to have somebody to run with and work together and run real fast, so I'm happy.
Brilliant. We're going to see you both at other top flights events throughout the year?
Absolutely, aye.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely, aye. The Geordie coming out in him. And Jess, will we see you again on the roads? Will you be getting in your own head again and practicing those mental cues?
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of tentatively aiming for Bath half, so but I'll just see how it goes week on week. And yeah, I love the run-through events and top flight series. I think it's really good for elite distance running in the UK, so I'll definitely be showing up to more of these races soon.
Well, I can't do any better than that, so I'm going to go back to the studio. The top flight events are doing great things for the elite running here in the UK, so back to you guys in the studio, and thanks again from Battersea Park.
Thank you so much, guys. Could George just get one super quick headshot, then you can take it.
So we are back live in the studio. Some fantastic interviews there from Lewis Moses, really getting insight into the athletes that walked away with the prize money and got themselves on the podium today. So, you know, we'll just quickly recap there, but there was some fantastic races in the men's and women's field there. Jess Gibbons, standout performance for me on the day. I think it was a real strong run from her. Good progress. So good to see her developing in her career. And Cam Allen, again, a tough fought battle with Omar Ahmed, but he's walked out on top there. We can see him posing for some photos there in the background. And we can see one of our other racers as part of the run-through series getting off in the background there. So a big day of running down in Battersea Park, but we will be back for more running, won't we? So Stacey Smith, tell me when the next top flight race is, please.
Yes, so you can tune in with us on the 16th of March. We will be down in Surrey for the half marathon. So a bit of a longer distance this time.
Ooh.
A little bit more coverage. So if you do fancy it on the 16th of March, either get yourself entered or come and join us on the live stream for top flight.
13.1 miles. So 13.1 miles of listening to me and Stacey and Cameron chat about running. So I'm sure you'll all be thrilled to jump on our live stream for that. If you do want to hear a little bit more from us, you can dial into our podcast. We have done, obviously, the preview show and Newcastle recap that's on our YouTube channel. So go to the RunThrough YouTube channel and jump onto the Top Flight podcast. However, we will be launching another podcast, Top Flight Unfiltered, which, like we mentioned earlier on in the stream, we'll be chatting around all the big issues in athletics and some talking points and just some provocative conversation at times. Cam, I'll hand over to you quickly before we sign off. Thoughts on today's race?
Yeah, fantastic running from both the males and females. Really, really exciting at the front. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing whether these boys come back out again, and Jess and a few of the other girls like Lauren, and seeing what they can do further down the season. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Fantastic running, very up and down. But yeah, no, I'm overall great running, and
I think we need to get you into one of these. You know, I think we need to get you in at some point in the season.
It's been a long time coming, Stacey Smith, but every time he gets to that entry button, he's I've got a cold. I don't think I can make this one.
In fairness, I showed Stacey my Achilles last time we were here, so I've got evidential proof, and Stacey will back me up on that one. But when that definitely, maybe not a half marathon, that's a bit much really, but I'll be there, don't worry.
5K,
this year is the year.
Quayside 5K. You've got no excuses. You've got no excuses.
The good thing is we get full access to the entries. So if the field's not as strong as today, maybe I'll enter.
Yeah, it depends on how his bank balance is looking. Well, firstly, I'd like to say a big thanks to my co-commentators today, Stacey Smith and Cameron Boyack. And like they both mentioned, join us on our next live stream, which will be the Surrey Half Marathon on the 16th of March. But yeah, that's enough for us in the studio today. So big thanks to all the viewers there. I hope you really enjoyed the stream. Jump on our YouTube channel to watch any of our other shorts or Instagram pages. And please,
we are
any
on
feedback.
Spotify now as
we
well.
We are on Spotify as
We're on
well, yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah, we're taking over. So any feedback as well, you know, constructive criticism is great. We want to develop, we want to grow this. So please pop into the DMs if you've got anything that you think would benefit the show. We're more than happy to take that on board and do something with it. So
did you enjoy Lewis's grid walk? That's something that we've wanted to try for some time, and I think that was good fun. And thank you so much, Lewis, for the coverage there today. You did an absolute cracking job. So yeah, please do give us your views, some feedback. We'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Do like, rate and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and do join us as well on the podcast streams. We are on Spotify, and we will be launching on the other podcast channels as well. So whether it is Apple or any other streaming services, we will soon be on those channels as well.
So once again, big thanks to Stacey and Cam in the studio, and a big thanks to you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and have a good weekend.